Let me tell you something, YouTube. I really didn't want to buy Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag on Steam yet. Certainly not today without a sale. I don't like buying games that old if they aren't on sale. I'm not saying Black Flag isn't worth $40 for that and the DLC. I'm not doing the best in the financial department these days, and with the price of everything else, the cost of living, I need to be smart with my money. I'm a gamer, but I need to live. But after seeing some news today, I decided to skip dinner today and grab the game before the original version gets digitally delisted. That's an investment I'm going to make for the channel, by the way, and an investment in my digital library. A digital library that every year I wish was more physical. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced has yet to be shown off, yet, though rumors keep coming up about a change that's going to be made in this remake that really spits on my face personally as a lifelong Assassin's Creed fan. Rumor has it that Ubisoft is going to be cutting the modern day from the game entirely, reframing it into a menu-like interface, by what I understand. Abstergo Entertainment's story, the employee, John Standish, and his connection to, I should say. The following video is going to be full of spoilers for the entire Assassin's Creed series. So if you are unfamiliar, come back later. For everyone else that is familiar or doesn't care or are longtime fans like myself, just strap in. It is not often that I get more than a little heated. Abstergo Entertainment's story, John Standish, a modern-day sage, and his connection to his past self, Bartholomew Roberts, Melanie LeMay, and her rise to the top of the Abstergo Entertainment Company branch, and the fun tie-in to Watch Dogs with Olivier Garneau, gone. Instead, what we're being told is an overhauling of the core historical gameplay, so anything including Edward Kenway. But it's okay, it's alright. It's not an RPG, at least. Well, thank you, Ubisoft. I'm glad you're doing the bare minimum for the game's preservation. I mean, I don't think we ever anticipated a remake to turn into Skull and Bones all the way, or a tower defense MOBA, you know. But if these rumors hold true, you're just casually gutting the entire point of the game and, while I'm at it, the entire point of the Assassin's Creed series. If you want to make historical games and not have a meta plot tie-in, Ubisoft just cancel the Assassin's Creed series and start over. Oh wait, no, you don't want to do that, do you? Because you got too much money invested in it. Yeah, then. Well, newsflash Ubisoft, there is a large group of your fan base that doesn't like the modern day. But also realize that they treat Assassin's Creed like the average Call of Duty fan or Fortnite enjoyer. They're just in it for the season. Your hardcore fans, you know, the ones who've been here from the beginning, who theorize and try to connect dots throughout actual history and your canon in order to better connect these games, that is who you are isolating here. You see, none of anything in the game matters without the point of being in the Animus. Let me say that a different way. The people in the Assassin's Creed story are not just sitting there in the Animus playing a video game. That's just the mid-series cover-up. The story of Assassin's Creed, the real story, is the modern day, because that's where all the stakes are. Sure, we love all the historical assassins. Through their lives, we get to see and form our own worldview of freedom and the pursuit of a higher calling. I don't know anyone who looks at Ezio Auditore da Firenze and doesn't get a chill when he reaches out and connects directly with Desmond. Separated by lifetimes, centuries, and Desmond's in a coma. Now, we all root for Edward as he goes through the original game, and we are all shocked when we look deep into the eyes of John from IT and see the sage from the past. All of that is lost if you cut the modern day. None of the ancient artifacts or cosmic mystery matters, because it mostly isn't revealed until the revelations from the past, which help our main protagonists, the modern day assassins, to quote Sean Hastings, Desmond, the ones who are actually doing things. They obtain context necessary from the past to succeed in a war that has been going on for thousands of years at this point, which you get to understand by playing through the historical sections of the game. Everything we go through in the past makes the journey in the present, through time, worth it. Without the modern day, everything just becomes so much more flat. Okay, alright. Assassin's Creed 1. Altair just hunts key figures from the Crusades because his master tells him to. Ezio just gets revenge. Connor gets played by the new American government and kills his father during it. Edward comes back home and lives until he dies. Arno loses the love of his life and moves to Egypt. Jacob and Evie, they do save the disenfranchised. Great. Bayek of Siwa loses everything, his wife, his child, and finds a new calling. The Eagle Bearer is just an epic mythical person who may or may not have involved themselves with the Peloponnesian War. Eivor, Wolf-Kissed, does the Viking Age thing against the petty kings of England, Paris, and Ireland. Basim gets over his bad dreams. And Naoe and Yosuke, they deal with the fallout of Nobunaga's conquest and the rest of the Edo period. That's it. Sure, individual character arcs, absolutely. Let's go back through that, but with the modern day in mind. Altair is a wise man who spends the later half of his life pouring into the mysteries of the Apple of Eden that would later inspire Ezio and even Desmond. Ezio himself is a prophet. Even though he is so important just by being Ezio, he becomes even more important because he is instrumental for guiding Desmond to the proper place to save the world. He gives a message that he can't understand, but it makes sure that Desmond is at the Great Temple when he needs to be. Connor Kenway guards against interference with that plan, making sure that Desmond can walk into the Grand Temple during 2012 when he needs to. And he is there because he needs to make the hard decision. Edward Kenway helps discover the existence of a first civilization experiment that can propel the Templar cause forward, that being the existence of sages. And it shows the remnants of ancient artifacts of power. Arno helps prevent Abstergo from getting more sage DNA, further building off of the previous point. I even left out Rogue. It is important that we see Shay's story and the stories of Cross, of Lucy, of Shay Patrick Cormac, that the Assassin's Creed is not universal, and it might not even be the proper way to look at things. Jacob and Evie Fry, they gave Sean and Rebecca a fighting chance to claim the Shroud of Eden. They failed, but they wouldn't have even been close without Jacob and Evie's data. And from that failure, Abstergo gains access to the Shroud of Eden. They gain access to a regenerated Isu, and that got dropped. Bayek of Siwa gives Layla Hassan the inspiration and the knowledge that she needs to want to stand against Abstergo and join the fight on the side of the assassins, which gets her swept up in the resurrection plot of Loki by way of the staff of Hermes, which it ends up with that resurrection of Loki. Basim ibn Ishak, a good candidate for mentor in the modern day Brotherhood, by the way, because William Miles is not getting any younger. Then we learn to understand Basim better through the Animus. And then there's this issue with Shadows. I haven't even gotten through to the end of all of the modern day stuff because they've made it so painfully obscure. Ego and the Animus AIs and the guide and all of this stuff with human freedom. But look at all the things that we lose as fans when they give up on the point of Assassin's Creed, which is the modern day. Gameplay pillars are absolutely vital. Most of your gameplay is in the past, I understand. But you don't care about any of it without a good reason. Otherwise, you have Call of Duty, which is a simulation for entertainment just by itself. I don't have all of the necessary footage to even show you. I just don't, I haven't gotten there. But you get my point. Assassin's Creed Black Flag resynced? Yeah, that just desynchronized a large part of the Ubisoft fan base. That's a lot. There is a silver lining, maybe, apparently. New content, new stories. Jeff the narrator, I can get behind that. But let's be really frank. There's two ways that this can go down. Shoehorned in trash missions that are just reskinned from the base game to establish a prequel content that, frankly, we never asked for. Or just additional grind content like 10 more naval contracts, 5 more assassination contracts. Or, if they insist on doing this, we get prequel, main story, and epilogue expansions built in. If we get an equal amount of development for the story, an equal amount of story for the butchering of the modern day, maybe it can be good. No, it can't even be good because they are horrifically altering the original state of this game. A game that has kept them in the positive sense, and then they're going to... kept them in the positive view of the public because they're like, hey, Ubisoft can come back and do another Black Flag. Well, you know what they're gonna do? They're taking Black Flag and they're changing it. Yeah, it's not going to be the same game. It will be different. And I bet you they delist the original Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Because why would you play Resynced when you can play the original, which is in the top 3 best Assassin's Creed games of all time? But if we get prequel, main story, and epilogue expansions to the story, and they are meaningful, maybe it can be of worth. But 10 more naval targets, 5 new islands, recurring respawning legendary pirate ships, that's not it. I'm not saying there aren't stories to be told. Edward's time in the war as a privateer, meeting Blackbeard, Benjamin Hornigold, and James Kidd. Sure, absolutely. Post-regular campaign, his return to London where he hunts down Woodes Rogers. Why not? His epilogue death at Kenway Mansion where Jenny and Haytham Kenway are orphaned. It needed to be in the base game, but I understand. Constraints, If they don't do that, though, I couldn't ever give them a pass on this blatant, disrespectful censorship of the original franchise vision. They made games about this sort of thing. Assassin's Creed Liberation had an entire secret ending based on the fact that the player was getting a censored by Abstergo version of the game. I just realized that in real time while we're recording. Ubisoft has long made the joke that they're really Abstergo, but now they're actually acting like it. This is blatant, disrespectful censorship of the original franchise vision. It's disrespectful to the long-term fans, those who have invested time and emotional depth into this series. They say the reveal is next week, probably on the 21st. I'll be watching. I hope you will too. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a great day. If you liked this video, let me know with a like. Comment down below. Let me know how you feel about this. Maybe I'm wrong. I can have a discussion. We can have great discussions here on the channel. I'll keep it respectful. I'll try to see your point of view, and I really hope that you try to see my point of view. If you like when I go off the rip a little bit and be a little bit more emotional about something, because let me tell you, I am heated. It's like 87 degrees, and I don't run my HVAC in the summer just because, I can open a window, and I am heated, emotionally and physically. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, assassins, Templars, have a great day and keep telling stories, because companies like Ubisoft, they stopped doing that a long time ago.